So I want you to picture something. Take a look at a photograph of yourself from, say, when you were 5 years old.
Oh, that's a wild thought experiment to start with.
Right. You stare at that image, you point your finger at the little kid on the paper. You think, yep, that's me.
Yeah, we all do that. It's a completely unquestioned assumption.
Exactly. But biologically, neurochemically, and, well, psychologically, the person in that photograph is entirely gone.
I mean, they're essentially dead, physically speaking.
Yeah, every single cell has been replaced. Their beliefs are gone. Their little 5-year-old worldview has been completely overwritten.
Right.
Yet you carry around this absolute certainty that the person in the photo and the person holding the photo are the exact same continuous entity.
We treat our identity as this fixed, unchanging anchor. I mean, it provides comfort, right? In a highly chaotic world, we need that.
We really do.
But when you start applying the tools of modern neuroscience and, philosophy to that assumption, the anchor just vanishes.
And that is exactly what happens when you read today's source material. We are diving into some incredible excerpts from a conceptual dialogue titled The Self-Illusion.
Which is part of the Time Traveler's Paradox series, yeah.
Yes, exactly. And the mission for this deep dive is massive. We are going to entirely dismantle your fundamental understanding of your own existence.
No pressure.
All right. We are answering the ultimate question, what is the self? Is there a permanent I sitting behind your eyes, just, operating the machinery of your body?
Or is your identity just a narrative your brain spun out of thin air?
Exactly. And if you've ever wondered about that little voice inside your head,
Yeah.
the one you're literally using to process my words right now, prepare for a major paradigm shift. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Well, to understand what the self actually is, the source material suggests we first have to prove what it isn't.
Right.
And while this topic might sound like we're drifting into abstract philosophy or late-night dorm room debates, it is deeply rooted in neuroscience.
It's grounded in the physical reality of the brain.
Exactly. We are looking at the literal mechanics of the mind. So that starts by looking at the physical evidence of permanence.
Which brings us back to that photograph we talked about at the top of the show,
Yeah.
that 5-year-old.
Yeah, biologically speaking, that 5-year-old is just gone. The cellular turnover in the human body is relentless.
It's crazy to think about.
It really is. I mean, the skin cells you had then turned to dust decades ago. Your stomach lining replaces itself every few days.
Wow, every few days.
Yeah. Even your skeleton, which, feels like the most permanent, solid architecture you possess, it's constantly being remodeled.
Right, by those specific cells.
Osteoclasts and osteoblasts, yeah. Basically every decade or so, you are walking around with an entirely new skeleton.
And it's not just the hardware that's been swapped out, right? It's the software, too.
Oh, absolutely.
That 5-year-old's fears, their lack of knowledge, their tiny goals, they've all been wiped from the hard drive.
So the dialogue poses this really profound question. If the physical matter that made up that child is entirely gone, and their psychological framework has been completely rewritten, what exactly remained the same?
I hear what you're saying about the cells regenerating, but I struggle to accept the premise entirely.
How so?
Well, I still feel like a solid object. When I wake up in the morning, I have a continuous memory of my life.
Right, the illusion of continuity.
Yeah, saying I'm just a constantly changing process feels like, I don't know, trying to hold on to smoke. It actually reminds me of the ship of Theseus paradox.
Ah, yes, the classic Greek thought experiment from Plutarch.
Yes. So you have a wooden ship sailing across the ocean. Over the years, the wooden planks start to rot, so the crew replaces them one by one.
Plank by plank.
Right. And by the time the ship reaches its final port, every single original plank, sail, and nail has been replaced. Is it still a ship of Theseus?
That's a great analogy.
Or, to bring it into modern times, think of a classic rock band that's been touring for 40 years.
Oh, I love this one.
They replaced the drummer in the 80s, the bassist in the 90s, the lead singer in the 2000s. Eventually, every single original member is gone.
But we still buy tickets.
Exactly. We still buy the tickets and call it the same band. But is it?
What's fascinating here is that human brains are absolutely obsessed with treating temporary processes as fixed objects.
We just can't help it.
We can't, because there is a deep evolutionary reason for this. Our ancestors' survival depended on recognizing stable resources and threats.
Like a lion is a lion today, and it will be a lion tomorrow.
Exactly. A fruit tree is a fruit tree. Our brains evolved a shortcut to categorize the world into solid, permanent things, just to save cognitive energy.
And we just turn that evolutionary shortcut inward and apply it to ourselves.
We do. We desperately want to be the solid rock, not the shifting river.
Which brings up the river analogy from the text, right?
Yeah, the source material uses this perfectly. You can go stand by a river today, listen to it, look at the rapids, return to that exact same spot a year later, and you call it the same river.
But it's not.
Not at all. The water you were looking at is completely different. The molecules have moved on to the ocean. The flow might have eroded the banks, so even the shape has changed.
Right.
The river is not an object. It is an ongoing pattern. And humans are exactly the same.
Man. So if my physical body is just a rotating cast of cells like a river disguised as a statue, it forces us to look at the one thing that feels entirely mine.
Inner voice.
Yes, my inner voice. Even if my body changes, I feel like I am the author of the thoughts in my head. I'm the one steering the boat in my mind.
That assumption brings us directly into the neuroscience of consciousness. And this is where the dialogue drops a massive bombshell.
Brace yourselves for this one.
Your thoughts arise from subconscious processes before your conscious mind even becomes aware of them.
Wait. My brain is making decisions before I know about them.
Yes. Modern neuroimaging actually confirms this. Researchers can put a person in an fMRI machine, which measures blood flow in the brain, and ask them to make a simple choice.
Like what kind of choice?
Just something basic, like pressing a left button or a right button. By watching the subconscious areas of the brain light up, scientists can accurately predict which button the person will press up to 10 seconds before the person consciously feels they have made the decision.
10 seconds. That is incredibly unsettling.
It really challenges free will, doesn't it?
The conscious me is literally the absolute last person to know what I'm doing.
The dialogue illustrates this with a simple test. Have you ever had thoughts you didn't want to have? Intrusive memories, sudden anxieties.
All the time. And, the harder you try to push them away, the louder they get.
Right. It's the classic don't think about a pink elephant exercise.
Yep. And immediately I'm thinking about a pink elephant.
Exactly. The moment you are told not to think about it, the elephant is there. Psychologists call this ironic process theory.
Ironic process theory.
Okay.
When you actively try to suppress a thought, a part of your brain has to constantly monitor your mind to make sure you aren't thinking about it.
Oh, man. And that very act of monitoring brings the thought back into consciousness. Exactly. If the conscious you actually controlled every thought, this wouldn't happen at all. You would just hit a mute button.
So you're saying the brain is essentially like a rogue pop-up ad generator.
A pop-up ad generator. That's brilliant.
Right, because we don't write the code for the ads. We don't ask for them. They just suddenly appear on the screen of our awareness. And because they are in our head, we click accept and somehow convince ourselves we coded the entire website.
That is a phenomenal way to visualize it. We take ownership of the pop-up ads after they've already rendered.
It's just wild.
The text uses a slightly more biological metaphor. It says the brain generates thoughts the way the heart generates beats.
Oh, that makes sense.
You don't consciously decide to think, just like you don't consciously decide to circulate your blood or secrete stomach acid. Thoughts simply appear like clouds passing through an empty sky.
Which raises one of the most maddening mysteries in human existence.
The big one.
If thoughts just appear spontaneously out of the subconscious void, then who is the one observing them? Like, who is thinking the thoughts?
It's an inherent paradox. The text compares consciousness investigating itself to a flashlight trying to illuminate its own bulb.
You just can't do it.
It is physically impossible. The observer and the observed are the exact same thing. You can't step outside of your consciousness to examine it because you have to use your consciousness to do the examining.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because if we connect those two concepts, the implications are staggering.
They really are.
If our physical bodies are just changing rivers, and our thoughts are just subconscious pop-up ads that we don't control, then where does our sense of who we are actually come from?
Right.
If we aren't born with a rigid identity, it must be constructed.
This is the core of the blank slate theory discussed in the text. No infant arrives in the world with a sense of identity.
Not at all.
The self is built layer by layer over years. It's constructed entirely from culture, from environmental experience, and most importantly, from external stories we are handed by society.
So these labels we wear, they aren't even choices we make. They're just sociological pop-up ads we've blindly accepted as our core identity.
Exactly that. Historically, religion and belief systems have been the primary suppliers of these foundational stories.
Right, the really big narratives.
The text highlights specific examples. From a very young age, a child might be told, you are an eternal soul, or you are a sinner, or you are part of a chosen people.
But the dialogue questions whether those are universal truths or merely products of geographical lottery.
Exactly.
If you're born in one specific zip code, you get one story. Born a few thousand miles away, you get a completely different set of labels.
And there is a profound anthropological reason for this. In order for human beings to scale societies, to move from small tribes of hunter-gatherers to massive civilizations of millions of strangers, we needed shared myths.
We needed a way to cooperate.
Yes, we needed organizing stories like religion, nationality, and money to cooperate. The labels are a survival tool for the species.
But there's a downside.
A massive one. The tragedy is, while they organize society, they end up trapping the individual.
Because we internalize them.
Yeah.
And it goes far beyond grand religious narratives. We do this on a micro level every day with our own internal stories, right?
Oh, constantly.
Like, I am successful, I am unlucky, I am incredibly intelligent, or, I am a total failure.
We slap these labels on ourselves and wear them like permanent name tags. And the neuroscience behind this is actually pretty grim.
Why is that?
There is a network in your brain called the reticular activating system. It acts as a filter for all the sensory information hitting you every second.
Okay, the RAS.
Right. If you continually tell yourself the story, I'm a failure and I will never succeed, your brain's filter will actively seek out evidence to validate that story.
Oh, wow. It's confirmation bias on steroids.
Exactly. It will highlight every minor mistake you make as proof that the story is true, while completely ignoring the 10 things you did perfectly that day.
That is terrifying.
The story literally shapes what you are capable of perceiving. You build a cage out of a narrative, lock yourself inside, and throw away the key.
And the time traveler in the dialogue observes this on a macro scale, too.
Yeah, zooming way out.
Watching humanity from a distance, they note that wars are fought, entire relationships are destroyed, and millions of lives are wasted simply because people confuse the inherited story they've been told with their actual fundamental self.
It's a tragedy of mistaken identity.
Okay, I hear all of this and it makes logical sense, but I find myself pushing back on the practicality of it.
Okay, lay it on me.
I mean, aren't some of these cages, these labels, necessary? I am a parent. I am an employee. I am a citizen who obeys traffic laws.
Right, the practical stuff.
If I just completely drop all my labels and view myself as a shifting pattern of consciousness, does my life just fall apart? Don't we need these stories to function in reality?
It's a vital question. It's the difference between abstract philosophy and practical living. And the dialogue addresses this beautifully with the actor analogy.
The actor analogy, how does that work?
Think of identity as being like an actor playing a role in a stage play. The role is incredibly useful. It allows the play to happen.
Right, you need someone to put on the crown and play Hamlet, or the audience just goes home.
Exactly. The play requires structure. Identity is a useful tool to navigate the world. The chaos only happens when the actor forgets that it's a temporary role.
Ah, I see.
The tragedy occurs when the actor walks off the stage, goes to the grocery store, and starts demanding people bow to them because they are convinced they truly are the king of Denmark.
That would be a really weird trip to the grocery store.
Right. But that's what we do. When humanity forgets the play, people become trapped inside their labels. They are willing to kill and die for a nationality, a profession, or a perceived slight to their wealth.
Because they think the costume is their skin.
Exactly. But every single one of those things is just a costume.
And the actor can always take off the costume.
Which brings us to the ultimate, rather terrifying question of this entire exploration.
Okay, I'm ready.
Strip away the costume. Strip away the nationality, the job title, the bank account, the religion, and all those internal pop-up ads of success or failure. Who remains in the dressing room when all the labels disappear?
Wow. The text acknowledges that this is deeply frightening for people because humans crave certainty, right?
More than anything.
Our brains are prediction engines. We want to know exactly what is happening and exactly who we are. Ambiguity feels like a biological threat. Labels provide certainty. They give us a nice, neat box to sit inside.
But the remarkable discovery, according to the text, is what happens when people finally find the courage to let go of those labels.
They don't just disappear.
No, they don't disappear into nothingness. They discover that they are far larger than their stories.
There is really fascinating chronological reality to this, too.
Yeah, the timeline of it all.
The text points out that before you learned your name, you existed. Before someone handed you a flag for your nationality or a text for your religion, You existed.
The pure experience of being alive, of simply perceiving the world, came first. The labels, the boxes, the stories, they all came later.
So what does this all mean? For me, recognizing this completely changes the weight of daily life.
How so?
We carry around so much unnecessary cognitive load. We exhaust ourselves defending borders that were drawn in pencil by whoever happened to write our specific story.
It's exhausting.
When you strip all of that away, it reveals that we are fundamentally much more alike than we are different. The self isn't this rigid, isolated statue. It is far less fixed, far less separate from others, and infinitely more mysterious than we give it credit for.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, recognizing this self-illusion could fundamentally change how we interact with the world.
It really could.
Think about how you treat a stranger, a rival, or even yourself when you make a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
If you realize that beneath every single label, beneath the politics, the borders, the social statuses, there is just a conscious being experiencing life, feeling joy, seeking meaning, and desperately trying to avoid suffering.
Just like you.
Just like you. Human cruelty and conflict almost always begin the moment we forget this shared fundamental truth. We confuse the character for the actor.
You stop fighting the costume and you start seeing the actor underneath. This has been a truly mind-bending journey today.
It's a lot to process.
It is. We've traveled from realizing that the physical body is essentially a river continuously replacing every cell to discovering that our thoughts are spontaneous, subconscious pop-up ads.
And we've seen how our rigid identities are really just inherited stories we use to organize society.
Exactly. And underneath all of that machinery, underneath the entire illusion of the separate self, we share the exact same core experience of simply being alive.
So the next time you catch yourself fiercely defending a label, or perhaps beating yourself up over an internal story of failure, just remember the actor who forgot they were in a play.
That's beautiful.
The role is real, but you are not the character.
Such a powerful takeaway.
Yeah.
And for anyone fascinated by where this conceptual dialogue goes next, the text leaves us with a wild tease.
Oh, it gets even bigger.
The time traveler, having explored meaning, consciousness, and the illusion of the self, sets their sights on the ultimate frontier reality itself. What if space, time, matter, and the physical universe are stranger than anyone imagines?
It seems the journey is about to leave ordinary physics completely behind.
I can't wait to dive into that one. But for now, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over as you go about the rest of your day. A question to ask yourself the very next time you hear that familiar, comfortable inner monologue telling you who you are.
Let's hear it.
If the self is just a story, who is the one listening to it?